my whole life, I have been an adapter, but not a conformer. Like I cannot conform just because things are the way they are. I have to do it this way and I'm going to do this. But I adapt, meaning, what's going on, I take in consideration, who I am and what I like and what I don't like. And then I apply myself to, whatever environment I'm in, based on that, and you have to switch it up a little bit. Maybe you have to pull back or whatever. So that's kind of what I did. Like I realized really quick that, that Tyrus was great for Virginia, right? It got me what I needed while I was there. But you home now, relax a little bit. Reel it back in. I had to be back around, my kinfolk, and the ham hocks and the collard greens, up there, when you got restaurants in the cafe at high school, it's different. Down here we ain't had that. I mean, the spicy chicken sandwiches was the closest we got to something with Fruitopia in the machine, so
resources, man.
Absolutely. We got to sneak to go to Checkers. So I think that it was probably a good month. It was a good month after being home that I probably slid back into the normal flow of things.
So I just want to touch on this real quick, like the singing part. Like, at what point did you realize you could sing and that you could sing well?
Right. So really, my whole life, and it's so funny because I watch videos.
Time out. I thought at one point you could sing, but really my whole life. But
I mean, let's not get it twisted. Like I've always sang well.
Got you.
So literally my whole life I've been surrounded by singers. Is where I was going with this, sir.
Got you.
So when I was growing up, all of my great aunts and great uncles were pastors, like not just ministers, like they pastored their own churches. And so like my whole family became like all the kids were the family choir. So when we went from one church to the next, it was like, hey, you three, come on up here, and we did praise and worship. We were the choir. So it was like the family choir everywhere we went. Right. And so through that, I think I realized, that there was a reason why I was always the one pushed to the front to, lead the song, when I was like not feeling it like that. Like, well, I got to do, I did last Sunday, we got to be in church all day anyway, let somebody else sing, because my sister can't sing. Sorry. Love you. So,
she's gonna block you.
She's already gone. So, the thing is like growing up, like, yes, it was like the norm. Like we all sing, like that's what we have to do, right? And then I started realizing that I was pushed forward more, because to me everyone could sing really well, but obviously the elders didn't all feel that way, so I realized early on that there was a reason that people would always ask me, and so I was like, oh, okay, this might be onto something. And so the older I got, like probably middle school is when I had the first opportunity to really realize the impact of my voice. And I had a chorus teacher in middle school, Evelyn Ellis, love her. So she was one of those ones that like embraced our gifts and our talents and pushed us to use them, in a way that worked for us,
right?
And got the most out of us. So middle school was probably about the time that I really started like singing, and like people were like loving it and wanting me to,
Did you like the attention you got from singing?
So no.
What? Why not?
Well, because like for me, I've never done anything for attention, right? And it's because like I've never been the one that had to have a stage and an audience.
You always had it though,
and that's why it wasn't something that I embraced.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? It was because like I always had it, but I never wanted it in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And so like I'll never forget like middle school. We had an assembly one day with one of my other good friends who sings beautifully, and she and I we did a duet or something, and I didn't really want to like stand in the middle of the stage. Like I was like, why can't we stand over here on the side of the risers? Like why we gotta do this? Of course everybody was excited, like, oh, Tyrus, and I'm like, I don't want this. Like why are they looking at me? Like get out of my face. So I didn't feel any kind of way about it, but at the same time, like I never wanted that. It just kind of came with it.
When
and so I
y'all
embraced
sang a
it.
duet, what song y'all song?
We sung Grandma's Hands.
I never heard of it. I thought that sounded something cool. What was that? What song was that?
So Grandma's Hand, it was like it's almost kind of like it was like Black History Month or something. I want to say it was like a Black History assembly, and Grandma's Hands was like one of those like old school songs that was brought from the slaves and all this kind of, yeah, but it was modernized with us, whatever. So but we sang that, and like I mean, to this day, like I think that people still remember that, like those who I'm still friends with, as an adult, looking back, like me and Sherelle, they talk about that time we sang at Morgan Road, and so that was like the first time that I think teachers, administrators, everybody like realized that I had a real talent.
Because even like I'm looking at you like talking and stuff like that. Like so, what I'm gathering right now, at least just from that portion of life, you did what you wanted to do pretty much. You know, what I'm saying? You did your work though, but like I said, the curriculum wasn't there, resources, whatever. Right. So you once you get done with your work, you time to play.
Free game.
You cause hell, all that stuff, but then you so talented at the same time, and you're a likable kid. You know what I'm saying, to most of the teachers. Right. So they probably kind of put him in a tough spot.
And it did.
You're that kid that's got a behavior issue, but then you so talented in so many other areas. Like, what do we do with him?
And they were torn. And I've had those conversations as an adult with some of those teachers from back then, who remember, everything about how I was, and I think that for them, they were torn because I didn't have a horrible household. My household was sturdy. Like, it was solid. My mom was disabled, so she couldn't really like beat me down, when she needed to, but at the same time, she didn't work. So she was home, you know what I'm saying? And so, but then there was a period of time that she really wasn't, my mom had a battle with drug addiction for, a number of years as well. And so, whereas, the household was still solid, like we never lacked anything, like she had her battles and she fought some demons, for a period of time. And I think that in addition to the rheumatoid arthritis and things like that allowed for me to kind of, get away with a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have. Okay. So it was a mixture of her being there, but then not being there, like being present, but not being, there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
And so my teachers kind of figured that, okay, he doesn't have a horrible household. He's clean, he's taken care of, obviously. He knows his work. He's a smart kid. He's super talented. Everyone loves him, but he's hard-headed. Like, he wants to do what he wants to do when he want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And if we talk to him about it, it's funny because I would take them out of character because like I would make sense when I would debate them, and so they used to be like they would just relent and just be like, you know what, go in my room. I got some chicken wings in there. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come back in there in a little bit. Like, Tyrus, not today. Like, I ain't got it. Like, just chill. Like, they would literally up in the front office. They would be like, look, just if you could come up here, like, just sit down. Like, I promise we good. I don't want to do the paperwork today. Like, chill out.
But was there a situation where like maybe they're talking to you that way because maybe they don't treat all other kids the same? Like,
they didn't.
Like they bad, you going. You just,
they didn't.
That's it. Was there ever people were saying like, well, y'all don't say nothing to Tyrus when he do this?
Like, they absolutely would say that. They absolutely would say that. And it's funny because like a lot of my my male friends, who would be boisterous and all those kind of, things, they would be suspended, sent to in-school suspension and, like first infraction, or as soon as the teacher say no and you say, why not, get out, whereas with me, they would be a little more delicate almost, wait, that kind of made me feel like, wait, was I slow a little bit? Like, what?
Nah, maybe
I should have been on minute, but I was special to them, and they've kind of said that, like I said, later in life. So yeah, I've seen that other kids, would be treated sometimes a little differently, and that happened way more when I moved back, like after I came back in high school.
Okay, and how was high school like? What was high school look like for you?
So high school for me, oh goodness, so I kind of slid back into a lot of who I was like in middle school for a school, because there it goes again. I felt that coming back from Virginia, I was more advanced, right? And I had more exposure to things that most of my peers at that time hadn't been exposed to academically. And so, whereas some of the programs and, groups and stuff that I was a part of back in Virginia, they weren't available in Augusta.
Mm.
Like we had home economics here, we had cosmetology, we had the electives and things like that, but it was on a whole different level back in Virginia. There was clubs and debate clubs and all this kind of stuff, stuff that really interested me that we didn't really have.
I say that, and here they have those programs, but it's on a way smaller scale.
It really is.
And you don't know that. You won't know that until you leave and go to those programs somewhere else.
And to see the difference. Yeah. Right. So for me, coming back to that, the funniest thing though is that Miss Ellis, who was my miracle at Morgan Road, my course teacher, it was her first year at Butler. So my 9th grade year was her first year in the high school level.
Oh wow! Okay.
So she followed, most of them there, and so I hadn't seen her since 7th grade, and so to come back and then have her, that was another part where sometimes I would kind of pull back a little bit from acting too wild because I knew it was gonna get back to her, and she wasn't having it. Like we had a relationship, you know what I'm saying? So that was one of those things, and then I was in ROTC, And
what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was in ROTC like two.
I just can't picture you being in there. I just can't.
I loved it, and I excelled really fast.
Was that something you were doing in Virginia, or you just
had no interest in Virginia?
What made you join ROTC though? I just can't picture you wanting to be.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, I want you to be honest. Yeah, that'd be
so
nice.
They used to wear like uniforms on Wednesdays. I
remember that.
And I wanted because they was always too little, way too little. I know. So I wanted to wear the sport utilities, like the camouflage uniforms. So I really kind of wanted to, like, I wanted that. Like, and my mom would never buy me nothing camouflage. So she was like, no. And so I saw they had them because it was, Marine Corps OTC. So I wanted that. And then, of course, I never got to wear them until like the last year. So I was mad. So they had me in the Charlies, and the regular slacks. And I'm a big dude, so that didn't always work out well on Wednesdays, so but I stuck with it. Like, it was hot waters, and it didn't quite work out the way I thought, that it was going to be. So that's how I ended up in there. But I loved it, actually. I really did. And you know why I loved it? I always wanted to be that kid that was in control. Like, not even in control, but I wanted to be, like, I gravitated towards being a leader.
Right.
And I can gather up a following. You know what I'm saying? And so that's always been the case. Like, I could get my kindergarten classmates to, rally against a teacher if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, we taking these snacks and we not taking no nap. And I don't care what she say, and they be like, yeah, we're doing it. So I think me gravitating towards being a leader also played a part, a major part in that as well.
Oh, okay. It just, like I said, it's when I came down here, that was my first day. Also ran to the ROTC people. Right. I had some classes in the portables or whatever they called them.
No girls had no tight pants on.
Nah. I mean, they did, but I was lost.
Right.
I didn't know where I was going.
In them tight pants.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. They look like tights now. You know how tights now make it look a little.
That's
bigger?
Exactly what they look like. They real tight when the pockets don't, stick to the sides of them. They be bulging on the side.
I just like that.
Them
like
Southerners.
Yeah, right. Down here, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is real, and they take it serious.
Nah, they were dead serious.
Yeah, real serious.
But so I don't know. I just, like I said, I thought ROTC. I was like, why are these people walking around like this? I'm not from where I'm from. I never had no military.
Right.
I ain't know what that was. I only seen that in movies. I never seen no real soldier.
Well, and that's the thing about being in Augusta too. We have a military base here, and so there's so many families that are, that come from military backgrounds, and so I think that's probably why the students take ROTC so serious. Like, most of their parents are either retired or active duty.
Yeah. Now people was wilding. People take that joint serious for real.
They really do. Like, at any moment they be prepared to go to war. Like,
Shout out to all the. Most of them are in the army and stuff now too. So people took it really seriously.
A lot of those who I was in ROTC with are in the military.
Why didn't you go? Why not just take that other jump and go?
Why didn't I go to the military?
Yeah, get that break.
Well, they hadn't repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell yet.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. Damn,
I don't know.
What happened? I forgot about Slim. You forgot about that?
Well, don't ask.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yo, it's crazy how the world
I probably would have either got put out or like.
Nah, you definitely got put out.
Yeah, because I have that problem with going with the norm and following the rules. So yeah, it would have been bad.
I can see you joking or something like that. Like, oh nah, you gotta go. Bro.
Yeah, get out. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like,
the world is crazy.
Tillman,
bro.
buy another pair of pants. Like, you don't have to wear them that tight. Get out. Like, at the time I was still wearing shell necklaces, so that probably would have been like, shave your hair, and I want it blonde. Like, right?
You know what? Did you have blonde hair?
I did.
You might have had blonde hair that day I seen you. I don't know. That could be what it is.
I very well likely could, and that's probably why you remember, 15, 16, 17 years later.
Yeah, it's something. It was something that made me like, yo, what's wrong with him? A little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then you was mean. So
tell me how you really feel, because now we get into the
because
at first it was like, he seems like a nice dude. Like, why is he talking to this lady like this? Now
you did. I said she seemed like a nice lady.
And but you said, but he seems pretty nice. Like, you said that.
Everybody did.
Roll it back.
Everybody did. Like, everybody had on.
So now it's, why is he like this? Why is he weird? Like, what's his color hair? What's happening?
Yeah, you have freckles. I'm like, yo, people with freckles usually nice. Like, everybody life I knew with freckles, they was
this is okay.
Everybody I knew with freckles was nice guy. I'm like, yo, what's the first freckle guy I seen was just tripping. Yeah, you didn't have enough. You had too many. I don't know what it was.
And I had slits on my eyebrows, so yeah, it was a lot going on. And when I colored my hair, I also did my eyebrows. Just saying.
Yeah, you were definitely wild.
Yeah, I was wild.
Now think about it. You wouldn't. The army wouldn't take you. They probably said nah.
Nah, I wouldn't have made it. Yeah. Like, I think that my instructors in ROTC, like, they was like, they was like, we gotta get. I mean, students. I mean, they couldn't turn me away. But those turned out to be like some of the best experiences for me. And I think they saw it too because, even now, like I see my instructors, from ROTC and like, I've never really come across people that don't remember me, right? But I had a conversation with one of the instructors, and I always thought that he hated me. But this man really like loved me. Like he really did. Like the time that he would take with me and the conversation that we would have. And then, since he's seen me, later in life and being successful and working and things like that, like he shared with me some things that just like touched me. Like, wow. Like he saw, in me what I didn't even realize at the time that I had. And so, while I was wilding and while everybody used to probably shake their hand like that boy, they probably, I know, especially as an adult, and I've worked in the public sector, around, some different agencies and stuff. I know that, adults look at some of these kids today and, we have conversations, right? Yeah. So I can only imagine what some of those conversations was, that first day I walked into school with blonde hair, blonde eyebrows, slits in them. Yeah. Tall. Yeah, real tall. So, I mean, you can't miss them, And I used to wear this little Nike. I remember the little drawstring bags.
You add like, every time. Every time you add a little.
Well, because I'm reminiscing now.
He
like
didn't say he dyed his eyebrows.
Yeah. Well, so
the image keeps changing in my mind.
So there is an album on my Facebook that has those pictures.
It's locked. That's what it is.
It's not locked. It's on
Tyrus
Facebook.
Tyrus Tillman.
It's on Facebook. Yeah. So if you look back, like you'll find them. Yeah, it was blonde. It was bad. My eyebrows was really blonde. Yep. Slits in them.
Would you say you
Birkenstocks?
Were you finding yourself though, like in high school during that time?
No, I felt like I wanted. I just wanted to do it. Yeah, I knew how I was. And it's funny because, like I said, I never like wanted the attention. It's just that I always felt comfortable enough to do whatever I wanted to do when I did it. Like I would have a problem with people staring at me. Like I would say to them, what are you looking at? What do you want? Like, and I would do that. My mom would hate it. Oh my God, because she was horrible too. So we'd be out, and people would look, and I never allowed people to make me feel bad about who I am. Like even if I'm doing the most, like if I'm out there, let me be out there because it's my life. What I do don't harm you. Then you shouldn't have an issue with it. And I would say that. So I've lived life boldly and loudly. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm glad you said it because one of the ways I was going to start the podcast was asking you, instead of asking you to tell about yourself, was how are you so comfortable with yourself? You know what I'm saying? And I say that just over the years looking at like, it's some people you can sense that uncomfortableness. I never sensed it with you, like, but you always like whatever, however you are is how you are. Like you don't sugarcoat it.
Take it or leave it. Right?
Yeah, for real. Like, and you the same every time I see you. Even when I see you out, you the same. Like, you just joyful. Like I don't know, you about to spend a lot of money. You got a lot of stuff in the cart sometimes. Right. It's like it's the same. You know what I'm saying? You don't be mad when I be seeing you out.
My own world.
Just that one time. Yeah. But just you never be upset. So I was actually like, so how were you able to either build that confidence or not even build it, but just have that comfortableness with yourself, right? Like this is who I am, and that's it.
Well, I think that my family has a lot to do with that. My family raised me to be comfortable with who I am, but be okay with the consequences, that may come with it. And what I mean by that is like my mom was big on do whatever you want to do in life, be whoever you want to be, say what you want to say, treat people however you want to treat them, but know that there could be some repercussions because of that, and you have to be okay with that because you've made the decision to be this person, right? I'm going to love you regardless because I'm your mom and I had you, and there's nothing that you could ever do that would stop me from loving you, but know that you're going to do some things and I'm going to be disappointed that you did it, but you have to experience that. And she pushed that on me, and it was almost like a commandment for me. It was do whatever you want in life, make all the decisions right or wrong you want, but you have to in your heart be okay with what you're doing because you have to know that someone's not going to like it, someone's not going to appreciate it, it's going to offend someone, it could offend someone. What you say to people may not be right and it may not be fair, but if you can live with it, great. But if for some reason it makes you, feel guilty about what you're doing, how you're living, what you're saying, then you shouldn't be doing it. And so I live that way. If there is something that I feel comfortable enough for myself doing it, it doesn't matter. I don't need to be validated. Like I'm comfortable enough to say, hey, this is who I am, and I enjoy doing X, Y, and Z, and you can't make me feel bad about who I am.
Right.
Because why? How could you? Like, if you disagree with something I do or the way that I dress or the way that I talk or the way that I live or whatever, what are you going to do? Stop paying my bills? Well, you already don't. You going to stop talking to me? Well, obviously, you're not anyway because you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? So what do I lose from you being, upset with how I am or not in agreement with how I am or how I live my life? So my parents and my family had a lot to do with that because we are a very bold family and loud and boisterous and all those things. But I think that each of us have embraced our own personalities and our individuality. And my family never made me feel like anything that I was doing was too much. Like I never had a conversation with anybody in my family that ever said, hey, stop. Like even my uncles, like, and I have so, and that's the other thing, a lot of people have misconceptions, he was raised by all these women. No, I actually wasn't. I call them my Trinity, So I have my mom, my grandmother, and my great aunt, which was my grandmother's sister. Like those were the women in my life. Those were the strongest influences because I was so close to the three of them. But then I also have my mother's youngest brother. He's literally my favorite uncle. Everyone knows that. I don't have to feel any kind of way about saying that because he's always the closest. Like he's always nurturing. I had nurturing men in my family on my mom's side, and they were masculine. Nurturing men, they were real definition of men, but they were also very nurturing. And I say that because they never, boys don't cry, boys don't hug, it was never that. It was, boy, come here, and they hug me and they kiss me, you know what I'm saying? And let me know that, we need to be out here on this court, boy. You tall, you need to get this ball. And I was saying, I want a microphone, Say that one more time. I want a microphone. I don't want that ball.
That's funny, bro.
So, because I tried that. So my dad was really big on me, playing sports. And when I went to Virginia, I wanted to make him happy because I wanted to force this relationship. So quick story. When I went up there, he was like, you need to play football. And I was like, football? What do you mean? What's that? So how do you that? I know Super Bowl. So he was like, you need to play football. You're a linebacker. And I'm like, first of all, I'm anorexic in my head. So I'm not a linebacker. So anyway, long story short, I try out for the middle school football team, right? Tryouts are the whole week. I'm staying after school. We running laps. I'm the last one coming in, right? They flipping tires. I'm out there talking about, I can't. I'm faking asthma attacks. Like I'll never forget one day I was like over it, like completely. I faked the asthma attack, and they was like, get him some water. I was like, no, get me home. Like I kind of want to go. Like I'm done here. So all week I'm last everything, right? My dad, he's out there cheering all this. And I'm like, this dude. So Friday they put up the rosters. Everybody like looking to see who made the team, whatever. I didn't even go. So I hear. Oh, by the way, in Virginia they call me red because I have naturally red hair and freckles. So anyway, a ginger. Somebody messed up and almost said something else one day. But anyway, so up there trying out, the roster's on the wall, everyone's excited, and I hear, Red, you made it! And I'm like, who else is red? Like I ain't never heard them call somebody else red. So one of my friend girls, she was like, Ty, oh my God, Ty, you made it. And I was like, mate, what are you talking about? So I go and I look on the list. I made the football team. So I'm devastated, right? Everyone's super excited. I know not the first thing of the fundamentals of football. Like, I don't know, quarters and all that. And I'm like, what inning are we in? I'm so lost, right? Like, I've never been a sports kid, like, ever, right? So I want to say it was like the week before the first game, the very first game, we were at practice doing flag football, like doing some plays and all this kind of stuff. I said it right. It's plays, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm learning. So anyway,
ninth inning.
So, right. Ninth inning. I finally got to play. So we're out there and we're doing this or whatever. And somebody came to get my flag or whatever. Put my hand up. Broke my wrist. Best thing that ever happened. Oh, my God. Like, it was the worst pain ever in my life. The first time I ever broke any bone. And the only time to date that I've ever broken a bone. It saved my life. God was so good to me.
That's funny.
It was. Broke my wrist. So anyway. Daddy rushed out there. Took me I had a cast and I was off the team. He took my cleats back. He took the football that he bought me. He took everything back to Walmart that day. He was so mad. Like he knew.
He knew you wouldn't play no more.
Yeah, I think what he knew. He was like, how you put your damn wrist up, son? It's flag football. Who breaks a bone in flag football? I do. And thank God. So.
That's funny though.
So anyway, but yeah, so my family was just my maternal family and my dad's side. And I keep saying a lot of stuff about my maternal family, but I did have a great relationship with my paternal family as well. They're all still here locally. I absolutely love them. I've had a great relationship with them even when I didn't have a great relationship with my dad. And so, that's another conversation for a different day and topic, but they've always been great too. But like, so my family is a major reason as to why I'm able to be like I am today. Because, justification for anything that we did or we're doing, kind of started in the home.
I guess while I'm on that topic, I didn't want to talk about this topic like that deep. I didn't really care for when it happened. But you got any thoughts on the Dwayne Wade and how he is with his son, like right now?
So, I shared a couple of thoughts a couple of weeks ago. From my personal experience, right? I feel that I always knew exactly what I liked, what I didn't like, and what that meant that I was.
Around what age, though, you think?
As far back as I can remember, like I remember, I think that I remember being a toddler and, finding it, normal to like kiss a girl or, and by toddler, I mean literally like 4, 3 and 4, because it was a cute thing to do, right? And because I have snippets of memory from like preschool, and it's funny sometimes that it comes in waves. Like I remember certain things, and around kindergarten. Yeah, I remember having a girlfriend in kindergarten, and it's funny because we lived in the same neighborhood and all of that. And to this day, we joke and kid about, she was like, you remember you was my boyfriend? I was like, you remember you was my last girlfriend in my life in kindergarten? Like, which she wasn't, but still, like, that's you remember funny, you changed my life. So, I remember that. I think that I felt that it was natural and it was normal. You know what I'm saying, to have a crush on a girl, and do stuff. And it's funny because back then. Like if you hit a girl or something, you like her. Well, no, I kind of hit her because she was in my way and like she said something to me that I didn't like, and I was like, move it, like that's why I hit her. I don't like her, So anyway, so I know as early as then that it seemed normal, right? It seemed like the normal. It's like society said that this is what you do, right? This is who you like. But I know for a fact that by 7, I remember going. Yeah, I was in the Boys and Girls Club, like over in Harrisburg, like over in the hood.
Yeah.
My mom was always big on me having different experiences around the city. God bless her. But anyway, so little did she know. So he sent me to the hood. Little redhead with the short sets on. You sent them to the projects. Thanks, Mom. So I remember, 7 years old, being in Boys and Girls Club, and there was this boy, we were like in, I guess, the same age group or whatever, and we had an attraction to each other. And I say that, and it sounds really weird, but I was 7 and I know what it was, and we had a relationship to where, it was a friendship. Let me say a friendship. We had a friendship that, we would hang out and do stuff, and our parents, we had no idea what was happening, some shit going on, so I was 7 and I remember that, right? So, but for me, I wasn't confused about it, but I just knew that it wasn't something that I don't think I was supposed to do, but it felt right? And so I remember as a child, like it would never be something I would want to talk about. Like I would never say, I got a boyfriend. Like for one, I'm 32, almost 33. I've never, ever, ever been in a real relationship in my life, like ever. And it's funny because looking back, like I never would say that I liked, boys, or I wanted to be in, or this was my boyfriend, or whatever. Like I still to this day would never see myself in, like I don't believe in some of the things that society has grown to accept, even still. And it's my community, so-called, but there's still a lot that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? And that personally, I just couldn't, right?
That makes sense.
So for me, I never wanted to label what it was, but I knew exactly what it meant that I was, right? And so by 12, I was completely sure. Sure. Whereas, ain't no turning back. Like that boy been touched. So, by then, it was kind of like, nope, this ain't no turning back now. So for me, I can honestly say that in the Wade's, story and situation, that I'm certain that his child knows, right? And it's noble that he is a parent. And and Gabrielle is a spouse and is a partner that appreciates the openness that they have and the acceptance that they have and the embracing of her choices. It's a little different for me because of my upbringing. I could have never imagined my parents being that accepting.
Yeah.
Now, because of who they are, I disagree with the public display